gonna do a picture? Quick, quick, quick. I know, right? Good morning, ladies. If I could have your attention as our guests are coming in, I would like to ask all of our hostesses to come up on the stage. If all the hostesses could come on the stage so we could take a picture before everything gets started. Otherwise, if we wait to the end, it will never happen. Oh. All right. Hostesses. Any other hostesses? If you guys can look outside. Can you actually hear me on this mic? Catalina, can you hear me on this? It sounds really weird. Oh, there it is. I knew I wasn't that weird. Okay, girls, go to the right, 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 right. You're squashing me. All right, ladies, thank you so much. The place looks lovely. Let's welcome our guests as they come in. Good morning, ladies. It's great to have you all here this morning. I want to say Happy Mother's Day. Oh, I knew you were out there somewhere. Happy Mother's Day. We're so thankful for your presence here this morning. And I know you're hungry, and we want to get started. The food is here, and we want to get serving. We still have guests arriving, and that's okay. But we're going to go ahead and begin our service of your lunch. But before we do, we want to say a couple of things. First, Dr. Hernandez, here, Rob can do it in Spanish.
Así aquí. Nuestro doctor está traduciendo el servicio en español. Si necesita la cosa de traducir, usted puede conseguirlo allá. It's great to have you here today, and I'm hoping that you're going to be well fed. I know what you're eating is going to be wonderful, and it's going to be a fun time. Please get to know people around your table, and be sure to come to church tomorrow because we have some special things for moms tomorrow as well. So we're going to feed you, baby you, and pamper you, and tomorrow we're going to continue.
We want to share something about this stage real quick. Everyone is raving about the stage, and well, they should. I want to say a special thanks to Carmen and Tanya. We'll share at the end as well. But they did a wonderful job in putting our stage together this morning and making us all feel very, very comfortable. In fact, I want to invite Carmen up to the stage, our women's director this year. Would you give Miss Carmen Brumley a hand of applause? Carmen is going to come on up, and Carmen and Dr. Brumley are going to come up and say a word of prayer for us as we get started. And then Mr. Luis Mendoza is going to be playing some easy listening music just for you. So, Carmen,
So I'm Dr. Brumley. No, I'm not.
A miracle. Well, Pastor Bob, Dr. Bromley is in the DR, the Dominican Republic. He's teaching. So he said hi. He cannot be with us here, but Pastor Thomas is here with us. So we're going to pray.
All right. Lord God, thank you so much for the time that we have together. I pray that we can peace and have some fun together. That we celebrate this. So grateful. Thank you so much for my mom and my life. Our lives. God, thank you for blessing this word. I pray that you bless the food that we're about to eat.
now, your lunch this afternoon is being catered in by Longhorns, and we will begin. You have hot bread and butter on the table, and the men are about to serve you with loaded potato cheese soup, and then afterwards, their famous grilled chicken salad will be your main entree, followed by dessert, and you can choose brownies a la mode or cake, either one.
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos. Si usted necesita traducción, tenemos los aparatos para la traducción y la traducción va a estar hecha hoy por el doctor Hernández. So, solamente déjele saber a su anfitriona o levante su mano. Gracias.
Bon appetit. Enjoy.
table, please raise your hand and we will provide one for you. El que necesite un aparatito de traducción simultánea inglés a español, que suban la mano o vayan a la mesita de atrás con mucho gusto.
ladies, how is lunch? Is it good? Can I hear a round of applause for your servers? We will formally recognize them at the end, but they're doing an awesome job. And can we also get a round of applause for that beautiful music by Mr. Luis Mendoza, whose lovely wife is over here just beaming, of course. She's so proud. She's so proud. Well, ladies, this is your day, actually your weekend. And you better make the most of it because no one else is going to care the rest of the year. No, just kidding. No. I know sometimes you feel that way because I do. And it's a mother's job sometimes can be very thankless because you're serving, and everyone just kind of takes it for granted. But we don't. We want to honor you this afternoon because without you, as Patrick just told my mother-in-law, none of this would be possible because moms start it all. And they have beautiful sons and daughters who grow up to be awesome men and women of God. And so we are so grateful for each and every one of you. We want to begin our program, even though you're finishing up your salads, and we're going to start serving dessert, but we want to stay on time this afternoon for you. And so we're going to go ahead and start out our program. And part of our program this afternoon is about young people singing to their moms as well as to the rest of you. And so I would like to invite Miss Sophia Cassis up to the stage, and she's going to sing to her family and to her church family a beautiful song entitled, yes, A Mother's Love. And Sophia just got back from her school competition. As many of you know, Sophia started in our preschool here many moons ago. She was one of our first graduating classes here from Miami Baptist School, and she is now in 7th grade and just got back from a competition yesterday in which she won first place. So congratulations, Sophia. And we like to give our young and aspiring artists a platform to continue developing their craft. And Miss Sophia, we're expecting great things from you, and we are so grateful that you're here today. Let's listen.
Thank you for watching over me. All of the sleepless nights you lay awake. Thank you for knowing when to hold me close and when to let me go. Thank you for every stepping stone and for the path that always leads me home. I thank you for the time you took to see the heart inside of me. You gave me the roots to start this life, and then you gave me wings to fly. And I learned to dream because you believed in me. There's no power like it on this earth, no treasure equal to its worth. The gift of a mother's love. Thank you for every sunlit day that fill the corners of my memory. Thank you for every selfless unsung deed I know you did for me. Thank you for giving me the choice to search my soul till I could find my voice. And I thank you for teaching me to be strong enough to bend. You gave me the roots to start this life, and then you gave me wings to fly. And I learned to dream because you treasure equal to its worth. The gift of a mother's love. Ooh, I thank God for a mother's love.
Thank you, Miss Sophia. I hope that didn't make you cry to start out with. But by the end of the afternoon, you'll probably be crying, so that's okay. We went over, Nick went over to the preschool and to Juana's, and he took a look at a few kids and asked them what they thought of their mother. Let's see what they had to say.
I love my mommy because she loves me. I love my mommy because her heart is very sweet. Because she loves me too. I love you, Mom, because you give me a lot of things. You give me kisses and hugs. Because she gives me hugs and kisses. I love my mom because she is different, unique, and beautiful. And sometimes when I get sad, she will give me some love. My mommy loves me when she cuddles me and gives me kisses. And when she picks me up, I hug her. I love my mommy because she's beautiful. I love my mommy because she gives me kisses and hugs when I'm sad. Because she buys me things like race cars are my favorite when she buys me those. I love my mom so much because she's pretty and she kisses me so much. I love my mom because she takes care of me. We love our mom because she takes us places and gets us enough money to have food and a loving home. I love my mom because she plays hide and seek, tag, because she takes me a bath. She gives me hugs and kisses because she loves me so much and she plays with me all the time. My mom tucks me into bed and I like that. I love my mom because she's so beautiful. I love my mama. I love you, mommy, because Hi, Bobby. I love you so much, and you're my best friend. I love you to the moon and back.
We have the cutest kids in our preschool, and our school goes from 2 years through 6 years, which is up through kindergarten. And so if you have little ones, we are enrolling for the fall semester. Shameless plug there. But something you might not know is that we're hopefully within a year and a half, we will be breaking ground and building a new building and being able to offer 1st through 8th grade here in Kendall. So we're excited about that, and if you know of people who have children, or if you have children, we want to encourage you to be a part of Miami Baptist School, because then they can join the great kids that we have there. I was introduced to a new song this year about Mother's Day, which I totally love. The song is called Slow Down, and I want to introduce to you two of our famous young girls who are going to sing that for you. It's a duet, and please welcome to the stage Miss Catherine Sobinas and Miss Jackie Ocampa. Come on.
to you. You were pink or blue and everything I wanted.
Here's to you, never sleeping through from midnight till the morning.
Had to crawl before you walked, before you ran, before I knew it.
You were trying to free your fingers from my hands. You could do it on your own now, somehow. Slow down, won't you stay here a minute more?
I know you wanna walk through the door,
But it's all too fast. Let's make it last a little while. I pointed to the sky, and now you wanna fly.
I am your biggest fan. I hope you know I am. But do you think you can somehow slow down?
Here's to you, every missing tooth and every bedtime story.
Here's to Barbie cars, lightsaber wars, sleeping in on Sunday.
Had to crawl before you walked, before you ran, before I knew it.
You were teaching me the only thing love can. Hold hands through it when it's scary. You've got me.
Slow down, won't you stay here a minute more?
I know you wanna walk through the door,
But it's all too fast. Let's make it last a little while. I pointed to the sky, and now you wanna fly.
I am your biggest fan. I hope you know I am. But do you think you can somehow slow down?
Don't roll your eyes at me. I know I'm messing,
But someday you'll understand.
when you hold the little hand.
Ask them if they can.
Da 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 da.
'Cause it's all too fast.
Da 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 da.
I am your biggest fan. I hope you know I am. But do you think you can somehow slow down?
Slow down.
All right, thank you, ladies. Wasn't that beautiful? Hello, everyone. I see some others crying already. My name is Isabel. I am the children's director here at Miami Baptist Church. I just want to say it's a privilege to be here celebrating Mother's Day with all of you. And I would like to share a poem that Miss Myers wrote. On the back of your program, you can all see the poem. It is called Supermom. It is based on Proverbs 31, verses 10 through 31. Godly wife and mother. She is worth more than all the money in the world. Understanding and wisdom guide her daily. Properly provides for the needs of her family, yet she still has compassion for the poor. Ever diligent, she rises early and retires late to complete the tasks. Rewards are hers in the praises of her children, and she receives great respect from her husband and community. Money is not a concern, for she invests wisely with her savings and is pleased with the return. Only in God does she trust, and therein lies her source of inner strength and dignity. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. Isn't that beautiful? This is a poem for all you mothers here today as well. This is based on the Bible, so it is possible. And we are here to honor you. And to close this poem is the verse 30. Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. And now I would like to introduce Selena Gomez. She will be singing a song, Superwoman, for us.
Okay, so this song, most of you probably heard it before. It's by Alicia Keys. But this song, I remember hearing it years ago, and I used to always think of my mom, because my mom raised me and my brother on her own, and she went to school, and she worked, and she did it all, and we're here today, and I think we're pretty decent human beings. So this is for her, and this is for all the moms out there that are just fighting through every day and never really get the credit for it. So here's to them.
Nothing seems complete.
superwomen.
Well, speaking of super women, we wanted to introduce my mom as she's going to come speak to you all today, but she is a great mother, and we wanted to say something nice about her. So, Mom, we love you. Here's some flowers for you.
What he said. We'll love you forever, and we'll like you for always. Because our babies, will be.
Thank you, boys. Yeah, they surprised me. Okay. Thank you, boys. I have the best sons in the world. There's no doubt about it. Without me, they wouldn't be made possible. So I am a superwoman. And so are you. And that's the theme of our topic this morning, is that you ladies are all superwomen. I have a slide for you. Last year, one of my favorite movies came out of all time, and it was called Wonder Woman. Did y'all see it? Yeah. Look at that woman. I mean, she has it all, right? I mean, she's got the look, she's got the brains, she's got the brawn. I mean, she has it all. And all of us, when we watch that movie, for those of you who didn't see it, I should fill you in. Actually, she is an Amazon princess who is living on an island of all women, and an airline pilot from the 1940s crashes during World War I, and, no, not 1940, excuse me, from World War I, and she rescues him and finds out that he is in the middle of World War I and he needs some help, and because she is the goddess of Zeus, his daughter, and she really doesn't know all of her powers, but she knows that she can help human beings. And so she leaves her island and she goes to Earth to actually help the humans, because she is fearless and she wants to save the day and fight the god of war. And there was actually a great moral in this story, apart from being a great superhero story. But in the end, she discovers that despite all of her superpowers, ultimately it was love that conquered evil. And that's probably why I liked it, really enjoyed it, and has become one of my favorite movies. It actually was a number 10, I think, in the box office in terms of all of 2017. If you haven't seen it, take a look at it. Excellent movie. Lots of fun. But many of you probably sit there, like I do sometimes, and think, yeah, Estelle, I'm no Wonder Woman. I don't have the looks, I don't have the body, I don't have the brains, I definitely don't have the strength that she has, and I'm definitely not fearless. But ladies, what I want you to see this morning is that you may have a lot more in common with Wonder Woman than you realize. And I'm not just saying that, but I hope this afternoon that as we go through this story of a woman named Hannah, that you will begin to see that you are Wonder Woman. You are a princess. Let's take a look at Hannah. A lot of you remember, how many of you know the story of Hannah in the Old Testament? Raise your hand. Not a lot. Interesting. Okay, so let me just kind of give you a backdrop. When we look at Hannah in retrospect, we see a godly woman who prayed for a child, received the child, and the child's name is Samuel. Samuel was to change the course of history in terms of the Israelis. He would go from a period of judges, and he introduced King David, and King David was the first king of Israel, and also was, of course, in the lineage of Jesus. And so Hannah has a very special story, and when we talk about Hannah from the pulpit, oftentimes we look at her and we think, oh my gosh, she's such a godly woman. She is so wonderful. I could never be like Hannah. But a lot of people don't understand the rest of the story. And so this morning, what I'd like to do is just take a look at Hannah's life. Because Hannah was not always like this. Hannah, in the beginning, was very much like you and me. Have you ever felt depressed, kind of downcast, lots of problems, frustrated, maybe a little angry, maybe a little bitter? I mean, sometimes you become so overwhelmed with your own problems that you really don't see the rest of the world. Maybe you don't even see your own kids. The job of a mom gets very hectic. And if you didn't grow up with a great family, you didn't have a lot to fall back on. And so when frustration comes, it gets even worse. And you just don't know how you're going to handle it. Hannah was a little bit that way, too. In fact, she was a lot that way for years and years. The Bible tells us in 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 3, after it shares with us a little bit about the lineage of her husband, Elkanah, it says this: he had two wives, Elkanah. He had two wives. One was called Hannah, and the other Peninnah. Peninnah had children, but Hannah was barren. See, even though you saw that picture with Hannah holding this beautiful little baby, what you don't know is that Hannah was born without the ability to have children. Now, in Hannah's day, unlike today, that was a huge disgrace. It brought shame on the family. Because if the mother couldn't have children, how could they pass on the lineage and the legacy of the family? I mean, that was the end. I remember when I met my husband, the whole family was so excited to meet his new wife because with him, the lineage of the Myers clan ended. He had a sister, and that was it, right? And his mama's right here. She knows what I'm talking about. And actually, I was getting cards from uncles and all kinds of people about welcome to the family. When are you going to have children? Oh, we're so glad that you're marrying, and he wasn't pastor at the time. We're so happy that you're marrying Rob. And when are you going to have kids? And I mean, this went on and on for years, and we didn't have children for 5 years. We didn't have kids. We wanted kids, but it didn't happen right away. And we were beginning to wonder, a little bit like Hannah, hey, when's this going to happen? But for Hannah in her age, unlike mine, where, yeah, it would have been frustrating not to have children. We actually thought about adopting at one point. But for Hannah, this was everything. It was so bad in Hannah's culture that Elkanah, although he loved Hannah with all of his heart, he married Peninnah, a second wife, probably because he wanted to have children, because Hannah couldn't. And so Hannah had to live with this disgrace, day in, day out, this shame. And you guys think you have it bad? In our culture, women, despite the trouble that, for those of us who grew up in the 60s and 70s, things are a lot better today even than they were there. Rob's mom, Jean, who grew up in the 50s, it was even different then. For a pastor's wife, the only thing that was expected out of her was, could she sing and play the piano? Other than that, you were kind of expected to keep your mouth shut. Women did not have the position in society that we are afforded today. We are very fortunate to live in 2018. But Hannah, it was 10 times worse. And so she had to live with the shame. That was a big problem. In her culture, this was everything. And even though she had married well, she had a wonderful husband who loved her dearly. He was devoted to her. He went to church with her. He loved God. And we think that they were probably well off financially. They seemed to have everything they needed. On the outside, Hannah looked okay. But on the inside, she was grieving. You may be like that today. On the outside, you've got the dress, you've got the looks, you've got everything going for you. But on the inside, things are boiling. And you're frustrated. And there's something missing. Hang in there. You're going to find out what Hannah did. Hannah had another problem. I wanted to read to you 1 Samuel 1, 3 through 5, that shares with us a little bit about this man that she married. It says in Samuel 1, verses 3 through 5, that year after year, this man went up from his town to worship and sacrifice to the Lord. So that's how we know that he was a religious man. And that whenever the day came from Elkanah to sacrifice, he would give portions of the meat to his wife Peninnah and to all her sons and daughters. But to Hannah he gave a double portion because he loved her, and the Lord had closed her womb. Hannah thought in that day that she had to accept the fact that she was barren. It was just a given. God is sovereign. God's almighty. He knows what he's doing. My womb is closed. End of story. And she felt like she had to just live with it. She had to suck it up and take it. And the biggest problem with that was that she had to live with her female rival, Peninnah. Peninnah, this gal, while Hannah, her name means grace. If you didn't know that it's a Hebrew word for grace. And grace literally means to have mercy on, to be gracious, to find favor. But Peninnah means jewel. And Peninnah obviously was good looking. The wife, her husband had this beautiful wife now who could give her children. She was fertile. But she was a jewel in another way too. At home, behind Elkanah's back, she would tease Hannah. She would rub in the fact that Hannah couldn't have kids. There was a jealousy problem going on. Even though Peninnah was able to have children and had the favor of her husband because of the children she bore, what she didn't have was his undivided attention and devotion. And so in this home, there is this rivalry going on, and Peninnah is constantly sticking it to Hannah. I don't know if you've ever had someone like that in your family. We talk about sibling rivalry, and I can kind of relate to that. I had 4 older brothers and 1 younger, and my brothers, for fun, would treat me as a punching bag. Catherine, we talked about that sometimes with boys. Boys just, use their little sister as a punching bag sometimes. They would tease me with their words and put me down. We used to have a fish pond in our backyard, and they would tip me upside down. I had long hair down to my rear end. They would tip me upside down until my hair was in the pond with the fish and the frogs, and they would threaten to drop me in the water. I mean, they were awful. They would even shoot me with their BB guns. I had to put up a lot. If you ever see this tough exterior sometimes, it's there for a reason. I had to deal with these boys for years. I called them my knuckleheads. I mean, they were just awful. But Hannah had it 10 times worse, because emotionally she was constantly being reminded of her disgrace and her shame. And the Bible tells us that even when they would go to the temple 3 times a year for the primary festivals in Shiloh, that even then Peninnah would say, hey, God doesn't remember you. Look, God didn't give you children. God gave me children. God loves me more than he loves you. And she would just keep sticking it to her constantly until finally Hannah would break. And Hannah would find herself in a heap of tears and just crying. Again, you may have people in your family who look down on you. You may have people in your community, at your job. You may even have people at church who give you a hard time. But just because of your situation, like Hannah's situation, does not mean that God is not giving you favor, that God does not love you. That is just simply not true. And for Hannah, it was especially untrue. it tells us in 1 Samuel chapter 1, verses 6 and 7, this situation. It said, because the Lord had closed Hannah's wound, her rival kept provoking her in order to irritate her. This went on year after year. And whenever Hannah went up to the house of the Lord, her rival provoked her till she wept and could not eat. I hope you were never like that, because it's an awful place to be. But she had a third problem. She had a husband who really didn't understand her. The Bible tells us that her husband just didn't quite get it. He had actually created this situation in his home, but he didn't really understand what was going on in Hannah's heart. He didn't understand why Hannah was weeping when they would go to the temple or when she was at home. He didn't understand why she wasn't eating. Honestly, gals, your husbands love you. They want to do the best for you, but they don't always get you. It's just true. And if you're expecting your husband to meet your every need, you're going to be sorely disappointed for the rest of your life. So stop. Okay? They're awesome guys, and they want to do the best for you. But sometimes they're a little clueless. And in this particular situation, the Bible tells us that Elkanah's response to Hannah, you're going to love this one. 1 Samuel 1, verse 8 says, her husband Elkanah would say to her, Hannah, why are you weeping? Don't I mean more to you than 10 sons? A little narcissistic there. I mean, I must admit, he probably didn't mean it that way, but he was saying, I love you so much, you should be content with just having my love. You don't have to have children. Well, granted that might be true, he wasn't understanding the shame and disgrace that Hannah was feeling. He wasn't understanding her innermost desires. He wanted to fix the problem. Ladies, your husbands can't always fix you. I know, my husband has tried, and look at me. I'm still who I am. No, God knows he's tried. But they just can't. So don't expect them to. Hannah had to begin to understand that there had to be something more. And so finally, she looks for her provision. Now, all of us have things swirling in our minds. For Hannah, it was his disgrace. But for you, it might be something else. For you, it might be a financial disgrace in your family. It might be a divorce. It might be the loss of a child. It might be the loss of your profession and you have to change everything. I don't know what it is that is overwhelming you today, but there is provision for you. Hannah had to finally begin to understand what her name meant, grace. She had to understand that God's grace was sufficient for her, that God's grace was available for her, that God's favor was resting on her, and she just simply had to tap into it. She had just, for years, lived with her problems. Just live with them. You might have been, or are still doing the same. You just think that, well, you know what? This is just the way it is. I just have to survive. I just have to get by. Ladies, you don't. There is so much more to life than just surviving, to just getting by. I don't want you ever to feel like you have to be content with the problems. Hannah finally came to a breaking point, and she finally realized that I can't carry this anymore. I am too sick and grieving inside of my heart. And so finally, one day, while they're at temple for a festival, after all of the celebration, she just thought to herself, I've had enough. I'm done with this. I'm going to go talk to God. And she gets up and she goes into the temple and she gets on her knees and she begins to pray. And 1 Samuel 1:10 says this, in her deep anguish, that means a soul that is grieving, Hannah prayed to the Lord, weeping bitterly. That's how much it meant to her, that this whole problem was overwhelming. And she made a vow saying this, Lord Almighty, if you will only look on your servant's misery and remember me and not forget your servant, but give her a son, then I will give him to the Lord for all the days of his life, and no razor will ever be used on his head. Hannah got tired of living in misery. She said, enough is enough. I'm going to go to God, and I'm going to wrestle with God like Jacob wrestled with God until he received the blessing. Hannah said, God, I'm going to stay here until I receive your blessing. My name means grace. My name means favor. Find favor on your servant today. I don't know if you've ever been in that kind of a situation where you're just done. You've just had it. You just can't go on anymore. And it's like, I've done all the counseling. I've talked to all my friends. I've done everything that I know to do, and my heart still weeps. I need something more. And Hannah goes to God, and she pours out her soul. But she doesn't just ask for pity. She asks for favor and a blessing, because she knew that her God was big enough. She knew that her God could provide. And so Hannah takes control of her life, and she shares this with the Lord. And while she's doing it, the priest is looking at her, because she's not talking out loud. She is praying, but she's so intent in her prayers, she's mouthing the words, even though she's not speaking. And so Eli, the priest, thinks that she's drunk. It kind of tells you the culture of the day wasn't very good in that particular part of town. And so he kind of thought that she was drunk, and, hey, what are you doing? And Hannah says, no. In 1 Samuel 1, 15 through 17, she says, not so, my Lord. I'm not drunk, Hannah replied. I've not been drinking wine or beer. I was just pouring out my soul to the Lord. Do not take your servant for a wicked woman. I have been praying here out of my great anguish and grief. Responds, go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant to you what you have asked for. Hannah finally began to live up to her name, Grace. She finally began to have faith that grace was near. I don't know about you, but sometimes we think that our problems are just too big for God. Paul, the Apostle Paul, the man who wrote over 2/3 of the New Testament, thought that he had a problem that was so big that God had to take it away from him. I don't know if you remember that story, but for 3 times he prays and he says, God, take this away from me. This is bothering me. We don't know exactly what it was. We think it might have been somebody who was bothering him, kind of like Hannah with Peninnah. And he prays and he prays. And in that particular situation, God says, my grace is sufficient for you. My grace is sufficient for you. What is the grace of God? The grace of God is your provision in Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ comes and he gives his life for all of us. And he says, if you'll but put your faith and trust in me, I will make you and restore you from a place of shame and disgrace to your natural, original position of being a daughter of the King. You see, that's what you were created to be. That's what you were designed to be, a princess. You and Wonder Woman doesn't have anything on you. That was all fiction. I'm talking about reality. You are a princess. And Hannah heard those words from Eli, and it sunk in. You see, when you go to God, what he will do is begin to remove all the negative voices that are in your life. And he'll begin to get rid of them, and he will begin to replace them with positive voices. Positive voices that are encouraging and show you that you can do what it is that you need to do. That he will restore you to a place of honor and strength so that you no longer go through life from a position of weakness, but so you can live your life in a position of honor and strength. The psalmist says that he is the lifter of our head. Remember at the beginning of the story, Hannah's face was downcast? Look at this. Hannah find in 1 Samuel 1:8. Hannah says back to Eli, "May your servant find favor in your eyes." And then she went her way and ate something, and her face was no longer downcast. She had one of those aha moments where the Holy Spirit came and just shared, this is it. God has heard my prayer. Now, I don't know if you've ever poured your heart out in this way or if you've ever felt like this. There was one time in my life in particular that I remember when I graduated from college. I don't know if you go away to college, a lot of girls get married during college. It's just kind of the thing to do, I guess. It's kind of that age. And all of my girlfriends were getting married. And I wanted to be married, and I'd been dating a guy for 2 years. We broke it off, and at the end of my graduation, and I'm sitting there going, all my girlfriends are getting married. I could have been the girl in the movie 27 Dresses. Remember where she has all those dresses? And that was my closet. I had enough bridesmaid dresses that I could do nothing with. And I said, I've got to find out, am I supposed to be married? I want to be married. Is God going to provide someone for me? And I remember going home that summer to my mom's house, and there was a little hillside behind her house, and I just was at my wit's end. I thought, I got to know. I can't live my life like this, wondering if I'm going to get married or not. And I went up to that hill, and I just poured my heart out to God. And I said, God, I just need to know, am I going to get married? Is there going to be someone for me? I don't want just anybody. I want a godly man. I want a man that I can do ministry with. Is there someone like that out there for me? Because I haven't seen him lately. And I was just praying, and I heard the Lord say back to me in my spirit, Estelle, have I not given you everything you've ever asked for? Has my grace not flowed over you in the past? And I got to thinking about that, and I thought, well, yeah, actually, God has answered just about every prayer I've ever asked. I was in a terrible home environment, and he saved me despite my wicked parents. I wanted to go to college, and he provided a complete scholarship for me to go despite our family living almost in poverty. He gave me everything I ever wanted. And I said, yes, Lord, you have. Thank you so much. But will I be married? And he said, what is your desire? For I will give you the desires of your heart. And I said, Lord, I do. I desire to be married. Then you will be. And I got up, I wiped away the tears of my eyes, I left, and I'm not even kidding. I was kind of like Hannah. I got up that day and I went, I know that God has heard my prayer. I know I'm going to be married. It didn't matter from that day on who I dated. I didn't even look for a date anymore. It was just, hey, I'm going to be married. That's pretty cool. I'm going to be married. I was confident that God had heard my prayer. And lo and behold, 2 years later, I meet my husband at seminary and we get married. And he answered my prayer. God is able to answer your prayers if you'll but go to him and ask him. Ephesians 2:8 and 9 says, it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is a gift of God, not of works, so that no man can boast. God's grace is given to all of us freely. It is available to everybody. You, each and every one of you, can be women of grace, daughters of the King, if you will but put your faith and trust in him. Hannah, in the end, prevails. As you know, or may not know, the rest of the story is that in Samuel 1:20, in the course of time, it says, Hannah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel, saying, because I asked the Lord for him. Hannah had her child that she so desired, and she then devoted her life to being the best mother she could. There's nothing more irritating to me than to see women who pray for children and then do not spend time with them, do not raise them well. Hannah was not that woman. Hannah focused on her child. Hannah dedicated all of her time to raising that child in the love and admonition of the Lord. She was a devoted mother. But you know what? She didn't forget her vow. Remember that? What did she say? She said, if God gives me a child, I will dedicate him to the service of the Lord for the rest of his life. So when the child is weaned, in 1 Samuel 1:27 through 28, it tells us, it says, I prayed for this child, and the Lord has granted me what I asked of him. So now I give him back to the Lord for his whole life. He will be given over to the Lord. And then she worshiped the Lord there. Hannah kept her vow. Don't ever make a vow, ladies, that you're not going to keep. Vows are very serious matters. I've had people here come to church and they'll say, God, give me a job. If you give me a job, you know, I will make sure that I tithe to the church and I will serve you faithfully. They get the job and they're praising God, and then we don't see them. All of a sudden they disappear. Another great prayer is, God, give me this house. I want this house. I want this house so bad. If you give me this house, I will open up my home for Bible studies and small groups, and I'll have people over. Just give me this house, Lord. And then the person gets the house, and guess what happens? Nothing. Keep your word to God, and he will bless you. You know how he blessed Hannah after this? Not only did Hannah get to go see Samuel after she took him to the temple to live with Eli the priest, but then God blessed her with 3 more sons and 2 daughters. See, God will bless you more than you could ever think or imagine. You have to simply trust him to do what he says he's going to do. Do you trust him? And then if you do, you've got to learn to abide in him. Jesus said, if you abide in me and my words abide in you, you shall ask whatever you want, and it will be given unto you. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus said, ask, and you shall receive. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be open unto you. The trouble with us, ladies, is that we don't act like Wonder Woman. We act like Hannah before she understood her name. We walk around and we say, poor me, I'm in this terrible situation. God knows what he's doing. I guess I just have to settle with it. Oh my gosh, I can't do anything. And then we get to a boiling point and we pour out our hearts and we're crying and crying and nothing happens. Why is that? Because you lack faith. Because you refuse to put your faith and trust in your King. When you do that, I will assure you that God will bless you. God answers prayer. He is faithful. Even when we're not, he is faithful. The question is, do you believe it? Do you believe that you are a daughter of the King? You no longer have to hold your head downcast. You can hold your head up high and say, I am a daughter of the King. Selena is going to come up and sing a beautiful song entitled, Daughter of the King. Selena, come on up. And as you hear this song, I want you to think about the words that this is who you are. Do you believe it? Will you change as Hannah did? Because you see, when Hannah put her faith in God, everything changed. Her thoughts changed, her attitude changed, and her actions changed. If you choose to become a daughter of the King, everything will change. Selena and Trisha.
Tell me I'm too young. They tell me I'm not beautiful. They tell me I'm not good enough. Tell me I'm not worth anything at all. They tell me I dream too much. I got my head in the clouds. Maybe I'm just hoping for something better than what I see now. A world where every girl knows the maker of stars, the maker of seas, the maker of every beautiful thing. He made you too. The mountain high, the river wide, he tells the sun when to set and rise, and he made you too. You're a daughter of the King. So tell me, what does that make you? So put your shoulders back. Don't you know that you're beautiful? You don't gotta tell them that. No. Just walk around like you know. And if you see your sister, looking like she forgot, like your dreams got crushed.
Give them a hand. Thank you, Trish. Thank you, Selena. What does that make you? I want you guys to put up a final slide on the back there. We've been doing a 40 days of grace, and this last week we talked about 2 Corinthians 9:8. And it says, God is able to make all grace abound to you, so that having all sufficiency in everything, you will have an abundance for every good deed. Ladies, all grace is made available to you, so that as Trish and Selena just sang about, you can be a daughter of the King. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for these lovely ladies today. They are your daughters, and we are here to worship you and to serve you. But Lord, there may be some here today that don't know you. And if that be the case right now, I pray that your Holy Spirit would tap on the door of their heart. For you have said, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and sup with him, and he with me. Ladies, if you don't know him and you want to experience this grace today, I encourage you to pray with me a simple prayer in your heart. A prayer that, if you mean it, God will pour his grace all over you. Just say in your heart with me, dear Jesus, I love you and I need you, and I give my life to you today. I believe that you came to give your life for me, that you died on the cross and you rose again, just like you said you would, and that you live in heaven with your Father. And God, I need your grace in my life, and I commit my heart to following you from this day forward. I am yours to do with what you will. I will follow you. For it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Ladies, if you don't know him, there's a card on your table, and I'd like the hostesses to pass those cards out. And I want you to just share with us your heart. If you gave your heart to Jesus just now, welcome to the family. You're our sisters. You're new princesses. And the Bible says that everybody who gives their life to him, that the angels in heaven are rejoicing. And I know that the angels are rejoicing today in all of you. Perhaps you need to recommit your life to serving him as Hannah did. Hannah knew all about God, but she wasn't following him. She wasn't dedicated to serving him. And she finally got on board, and she finally gave up trying to do it herself. And she said, I'm going to serve my Lord. The best thing you can do for your families, ladies, is to give your whole heart to God in service. And as your children watch you serve, they in turn will serve as well. So on those cards, we invite you to fill them out and to mark if you have a prayer request. If there's someone that you're praying for, write that down and we will pray with you. And then in a moment, the ladies are going to pick them up. And I would like for everyone to fill out a card, because we also have a few gifts to give away. And the only way I know how to do that is through a raffle. So if everybody would just write their name and phone number on that card, that would be awesome, so that we can give away some gifts today. Also, at your table, there's a gift for you. In front of you, there is a gift that says you are precious. That's how God views you. You are so very, very precious in his sight. And it's a mug so that when you get up and have your morning coffee, you can remember that each and every day. And there's a devotional there. If you're not in the habit of spending time with your Father, that devotional is there for you, so that each and every morning you can get up and learn something new about God. Learn something new about his provision of grace for you. For we are women of grace. Can you say that with me? We are women of grace. Say it with some feeling. We are women of grace. I could really call you all Grace now because that's who you are. But we love you, and we're here for you. And just like that song said, we're here to encourage you when you need it. We need to be there for each other. Don't be like Peninnah, who was bitter and jealous and mean-spirited. I want you to be like Hannah, who can be a grace tool of your Father, who can be encouraging and kind. None of us are perfect. We're all a work in progress. But I tell you this, the more you spend time with your Father, the more you will look like Him. For you were made in His image, and He desires you to act like His daughter. Once you're finished filling those out, your hostesses are going to pick them up and bring them up to me, and Miss Carmen and Miss Judy and Miss Tanya are going to help me give away some Mother's Day gifts. You all have one gift, but some of you are going to get more because we like to take care of our moms. And by the way, tomorrow I have a special gift when you come in, when you come to church, ladies, so don't forget to bring your whole family to church tomorrow, and we're doing free portraits in the cafe. So bring your whole family, and we will be taking portraits of your whole family. So get them all together. I've got mine all together. We're looking forward to that tomorrow, where we can have a lovely family portrait. And Miss Carmen has the basket. So hostesses, if you will take your cards to Miss Carmen right down here, and then we're going to give you some gifts and get you out on time this afternoon. And Rob, I had asked Thomas to bring, oh, here he is. Let me do it right now. Let's do it. Yeah, go. While we're doing that, also, could I get all the men to come in while we're collecting those cards? I would like to recognize all of our servers as well. Okay. While they're gathering the servers, I would like to formally recognize all of our guest singers this morning. And so, Miss Sophia Casas, would you come up? Miss Selena Gomez and Trish and Catherine Sobinas and Jackie. Would you ladies all come to the front, please, as we would like to present you with a floral arrangement to say, we love you, and you all, ladies, front and center. We love you, beautiful, beautiful ladies. You have done an absolutely awesome, awesome job. Can you give all of our girls a hand? Do we not? By the way, for those of you who are visiting with us, these are all homegrown. They're all members of our congregation, and I think you can give them a better round of applause, all right? Let's go ahead. There's more in the back. Those are for Carmen. Those are for someone else. Go on. There's, oh, go ahead. Each. There we go. There we go. There's some more in the back. Can, Trish, Selena, we'll get the, yeah, there's some more in the back. All right, give them, no, they're in the back. Give them a hand one more time. Thank you. Beautiful. And now if our men would all come forward. All of our men, come on up, come on up. Ladies, can you give our men a round of applause as they come on, come on. They need to come down and take a bow. Come down and take a bow. Come on, come on. Look at all of this. Look, they're still coming. They're still coming. Oh my goodness. We can't even fit them all up here. I'm telling you, without these guys, your luncheon would not be possible. So we bow before you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are the best, the absolute best. Did you want to say something?
All right, men, are you ready for your bow? Ladies, I want to hear some noise. Here you go, men. Leave your tip on the table.
All right, and now to give you all some gifts. Miss Carmen, where's our basket? Let's come on up. Miss Judy and Miss Janet, come on up. You know what? All three of you, come on up. As they're coming up, would you give Miss Tanya and Carmen, I'm sorry, Carmen, Sabinas, would you give these two ladies a hand for this lovely stage? And would you give Judy a hand for organizing all your lovely tables? Yeah, we have a couple. I need a couple more of those floral arrangements. Yeah, we need to. Come on up. It takes a lot to put a luncheon together. I know when you walk in here, it just looks like it's just done. But every hostess at every table put a lot of effort into making this a lovely affair for you today. Can we have all of our hostesses stand and let's say a big thank you to our hostesses. That's okay. So these are for you guys to take home too. You guys take home. And of course for our wonderful our fearless leader, Miss Carmen, would you give her a round of applause? We have an awesome team here at Miami Baptist. Amen? We really, really do. And I'm very proud of all of our ladies. You guys are all awesome. And now we get to recognize some of you. So here we go. We're going to shuffle the basket, and I hope you filled in the names, right? All right, here we go. We're going to see how fast we can do this. Ooh, you're going to have to do it because I can't even see that.
Jackie Haddock. Raquel. No last name, just Raquel.
There she is, Raquel. Congrats.
Juanita Sterling.
Mix them up.
Elisa Hernandez.
Here she is over here.
Rosa Morales. Isabel Ortega. Lourdes Sanchez. Dorina de Aquiras. Dorina, Doriana. Doriana, is that what?
Dorian, is there a Dorian in the house? Oh, we did it right there?
Okay, sorry. Saritza Rodriguez. How many do we have left? Tomasa Cruz. Is that Jacqueline M? Jacqueline M?
In the back. Jackie M. in the back.
Thank you. Jean Myers.
Thank you for taking care of my mother-in-law. Now I don't have to get her a gift, so that's cool. Just kidding.
Okay, Sasia Burr.
Trisha? Is there a Trisha in the house?
Burr, B-U-R-R.
There she is from England, all the way from England, visiting with us today. I'm so glad she got a gift.
Sandra Perez Alvarez.
There she is in the back, Miss Sandra.
Catherine Sorbinas.
Catherine, now you don't have to buy your mother a Mother's Day gift. You can give it to her.
Jacqueline Peneda. Peneda. Trying to make sure we have this two more.
And we've got 2 more left, or 3.
Diamis Muniz.
Diami. One more.
Libby Alvarez.
One more. Lydia or Liddy? Libby. I'm sorry. Libby. Excuse me. And one last envelope.
Iris Hernandez.
Now, if you've been admiring our watering cans here, full with hydrangeas, and you would like to purchase one, or if you would like to purchase one of these with the flowers in it, these are on sale for $25. However, there's a catch. You have to pick it up tomorrow after church. You can pay for it today, and we can put your name on it, but we want to keep the stage for church tomorrow. And but if you want to see Miss Carmen or any of the ladies on your way out, and you may purchase them. The flowers on your tables we're going to keep for tomorrow as well. I'm sorry, ladies. I know you would love to take them with you, but do me a favor, leave them. We're going to decorate the stage for our portraits. Again, we're doing free family portraits in the cafe tomorrow, and so we want to decorate that area with lots of flowers. We are so thankful for your presence. I want to thank Nick and Patrick and Mr. Dan for all of their work, and Mr. Luis Mendoza and Carl and all of our media guys and music guys and Mr. Hernandez in the back with translation. We have an awesome crew, and Raul on the camera. These guys have done an awesome, awesome job. And we are so thankful for your presence. Once again, we want to say Happy Mother's Day and enjoy your weekend. Ladies, don't forget your dishes on your way out. But we will see you soon. God bless you all. Happy Mother's Day.